there, Sarah from 17 once again, introducing you to my Devil May Cry 3 Dante Must Die difficulty video walkthrough. This is mission 18, entitled Invading Hell. So this is a mission that a lot of people that are new to the game are going to hate. This is that mission that people are going to fear when they play later difficulties because it's a culmination of things that make the game difficult, and namely the boss fights. So not only is there a really interesting fight against a chessboard at the start, but there's also a path through a certain room that involves taking on bosses. And there is a quick route through the room, but you have to fight a set amount of bosses. And these are the ones that you might not be the most comfortable with, but they are the ones that get you through the game that little bit. But anyhow, welcome to Hell. So this is the chessboard. And what's going to happen here is the pieces are individually going to wake up from this suspended state and they're going to start attacking. And because this is Dante Must Die, each of them is going to be super aggressive and extremely damaging. So what I like to do to stay safe during the early phase is I just like to Stinger B the king. If you hold the right bumper or R1 and you keep hitting triangle or Y, you'll just keep bouncing off him like this, and you can't really be hurt. There's a couple of attacks that might catch you if you're unlucky with the timing, but for the most, you should be able to stay safe doing this until the king wakes up. And then you need to do everything you can to kill him. Because if you kill the king, every other piece dies. It's that simple. You can focus on the other pieces first, but the reason why I would tell you not to do this is because if you kill 3 pieces, everything will devil trigger, including the king, and that is not what you want. You want to kill the king before he devil triggers because his life is at its lowest. And what I'm doing to do that is I'm using the time freeze of Quicksilver to beat him up. Watch out for the queen, she's easily the most irritating and damaging piece on the board. And you'll notice that the king starts to lose his horns, he starts to lose his face, and that's when you know you're winning. And when he makes that groan and he starts opening up and releasing that ball, it means he's going to do a really damaging area of effect move. So you need to get away from it or get... if you're using Royal Guard, you need to know how to guard it, because if you don't, it's going to do some stupid damage. And all I'm doing is I'm watching where he teleports to, because every time you attack the king too much, he will replace his position with another piece on the board. And you need to pay attention so you don't get sloppy. But there you go, folks. That's how much it takes to kill the king. Everything else dies. Flawless chessboard. So we're going to be teleporting through mirrors for pretty much the rest of this area. And this room here, you can completely skip the Fallens, and that's exactly what I'm going to do because I hate them. And we're going to move into the next area, which is the boss fight room. So there is a blue orb for killing all the bosses, but you don't have to do that. The path to get to the end, the quickest, is Cerberus, Agni and Rudra, and Beowulf. If you can kill those 3 bosses, you can get through this level very quickly. So I changed to Swordmaster, I changed to Cerberus because I need to use the ability to stop the icicles from being able to injure me. And that is all you're going to need for this. You're going to need the spiral, the pistols, and Cerberus with Swordmaster. And you've seen me do this fight again. We've already seen this. The technique is very simple. Move over to the corner and spiral cancel his tits off. It is that simple. Only problem is, you can still get hurt. This is a boss. This is the hardest difficulty, so you might get damaged. One thing that I haven't actually talked too much about, which I probably should have, because it resonates with me and it'll probably resonate with others, is that these games on the PlayStation each have individual trophies assigned to them. And the achievements are the same, don't get me wrong, there's still 99, achievements if you added them all together for the trophies, but they each have the equivalent of 1000 G allocated to them. And if that were true on the Xbox, I think it'd be much better, because there's just something about, that 1000 G for things that just feels good, and I would have 3000 G off this one game, which would be amazing, because not only is that a good gamerscore buff, but it's also nice to see individually as opposed to just, as a whole. Because I'm by no means the same kind of achievement whore as I used to be, but it's still nice to get that completion. And even somebody that doesn't, get really into that whole stuff enjoys a completion because it just looks nice. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of people have against DLC, is the fact that it ruins that flawless looking number, especially when they bring out some preposterous, like, fucking accountant's impression of a cool number, like 160G. Like, who thinks that's cool, man? Just give us a fucking rounded number. Don't give us none of that nonsense. It's not fun at all. But stuff keeps coming out that way, and they're going to keep increasing it, and it makes me wonder where it's going to go, to what's the limit going to be, because games can now, with DLC, go up to 2,000 achievements. Maybe on the next console, every game will start with 2,000 achievements. It's like, where does it end? And a lot of people are contemplating whether or not achievements and gamer profiles and things are going to follow through to the next console, and they've invested so much into it that it has to. There's a lot of people that play games purely for those rewards, and if you take those reward schemes away, it might stop them from playing. So that'd be a really, really interesting situation for Microsoft and co. Oh wow, I just took damage, that's bullshit. But there you go, like I said, this boss is not a fun boss by any means, but he's not a difficult one thanks to this strategy. You can just cheese his face off, because it works, and if it's a working strategy, it's a winning strategy in my eyes. And it's just so ironic that I lose my console when I get my mic, so all the new projects I could have done have just completely been forfeit and cancelled because I can't do them right now, and it's really tragic because I only have 2 deadlines left for uni, essentially. Everything else is out of my control, and I can only really do those projects through uni, so I've got a lot of free time when I'm not there. And nothing to fill it with as I get caught by the stupid icy floor move because Cerberus does not have a double jump, and I got screwed. So just be aware of that. If you have Cerberus on and you're not close to the wall, Dante will not double jump and you might get caught. But just keep spiral cancelling him. This is probably one of the most boring fights of the game, but this is pretty much every boss fight on Devil May Cry 2 is like this. So if you don't like shooting something for 4 hours, then stay away from 2. Like I could put one video up which shows you why I hate the second game, and it involves the infected tanks, where I stand in its side bashing triangle for about 20 minutes and the thing's still alive. And it's on normal, it's not on hard. It's ridiculous. And that's one of the crazy things about the God Hand game that I've mentioned. The bosses have got so much life, even on normal, and the game has an adjustable difficulty where the better you play, the harder it gets. So, regardless of difficulty, they'll always have the same life, which is far too much if you ask me. But there is Cerberus. This should be the end of the first boss stage in Mission 18. The second part will have the rest, so hopefully you'll be able to get through as smoothly as I do, and I'll see you at the 11th hour of Devil May Cry 3. You take care now.